Oliver from injured reserve. They're both expected to play Saturday at Denver. Oliver is making a return after being placed on IR following Week 8. So welcome back as we turn to Josh Allen and the Bills. Top seed Denver is who they're facing in that divisional round tomorrow. And Allen's been real good in the wild card round, as you know. Has not found the same success in later rounds. Just 2-5 as a starter, 6 fewer pass attempts, 2 fewer yards per pass attempt. So, RC, get that Superman cape dry cleaned and ready again, right? What does he need to do?
I mean, right now he's screaming like Kevin Hart, help me! But what he's asking for in that help is Joe Brady, James Cook, and the running backs. Can we get this run game going against a very stout Denver defense? We didn't see that last week, but we saw Josh be able to create some deep throws with Brandon Cooks and obviously Dalton Kincaid on the screen and go. That's going to be less available this week. Normally it's where's 21 on the other side because you have a matchup win there. They don't really have that this week with the Buffalo Bills. And so it has to start with the run game. And for me, I want to see half rolls and boots and meshes to get Josh out of the pocket, but also create some easier throws by running some of these players through the traffic and attacking the linebackers with the tight end position, which going into this week probably has Josh's best pass catchers.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't necessarily trust Bo Nix yet, right? Yeah. Because of the inconsistency.
Well, I think that's the point you made, though, about the divisional round.
Right.
Normally in the divisional round, guys like Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are waiting. They aren't there this week.
Yeah, and so, Mina, on the other side, give me the blueprint, okay, for this Broncos offense.
Run the damn ball. It's not that complicated. I mean, last week, I'm telling you, every Bills fan on earth was thrilled that the Jags stopped handing it back off to their running backs because they were gashing them. I do think Ed Oliver returning could potentially help this Bills run defense, but to be blunt, they have not been good for the entire NFL season. And the Broncos run game, while not particularly flashy, has improved as the season has gone along, particularly in efficiency. I do think Jaleel McLaughlin adds a little bit of juice to that backfield. I think the Broncos have very underrated skill players when it comes to blocking. So if the Bills play them light, they'll be able to move bodies. And I think Bo Nix adds to that. We've seen so often this Bills team in the red zone struggle when quarterbacks use the option, the edges crash, and there's opportunities there. So I think Bo Nix using his legs will also be a part of that. But if I'm Sean Payton, I'm going very run heavy given the opponent.
Well, I understand the run heavy given the opponent. I also go a little bit run heavy because I think that this is a bad matchup pass game for the Broncos offense, Bills defense. They're going to make Bo Nix look at so many different things.
Yes.
He struggles when he has to think. Like, that's it. That's the truth, okay? So the less that you're asking him to think and read against all these different zones and cover changes, I think better. Two things that I also agree with Mino when it comes to their run game that I would pay attention to. How many different things they get into their 4x1 personnel and utilize. And then I agree, MK, like, while Jacksonville ran the football on the perimeter well, one of the things that's part of this Denver offense is they want to get the ball to the perimeter now.
Yeah.
These RPOs, these 4x1 perimeter screens. I think you can live in that world a little bit where it may not be this downhill, quote-unquote, perimeter run game, but I still think getting the ball out on the perimeter quickly is a big deal. But I think a huge part of this is if Sean Payton asks Bo Nix to dissect this defense and diagnose this Buffalo defense, I think you set him up to fail.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Ed Oliver is coming back. Swagoo, we saw you perk up a little bit at that news. What kind of difference do you think that makes? There you go.
Well, look, if he's fully healthy, and I'm assuming that he can do a lot and be close to who Ed Oliver is, hopefully it's fresh legs as opposed to being a little bit rusty by not being on the field. But more importantly, we saw this Buffalo Bills defense last week thrive on big plays. That's how they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars from a defensive standpoint. They made a bunch of big plays. So when you think about having Ed Oliver back, not only should it help you in the run game, but one of the issues for this Buffalo team has been interior pressure. And in order to get Bo Nix moving off of his spot when they do try to drop him straight back, I think this goes a long way. Y'all know how I feel about three techniques in the playoffs in critical down and distance situations. So if Ed Ed Oliver can come back and be who Ed Oliver was before this injury, this is a major boost to this defense, because last week we saw the reincarnated Tre'Davious White come through with huge play after play after play for this defense. Now you add another guy into the mix, and I think Ed Oliver can be a difference maker if he can really go.
You know what I like what Dan does? Because he talks with his hands out here and slow, he was basically like, don't try to make Bo Nix be smart. But the way he said it was so football-y, and X's and O's, it was cool.
But he struggles when he has to think, Ryan.
That's pretty clear. The tape is what the tape is.
I'm a fan of the young man. That he's better when he reacts.
He gets confused.
Better when he reacts.
Yeah.
There's no derailment and nothing has changed, one source said. Talks continue and the two sides are working to get it across the finish line, and you can certainly see why the Giants want to get this done. New York and Baltimore, different paths since Harbaugh got that Ravens job back in 2008. Baltimore has run roughly 20% more of their games than the G-Men, 3 times as many playoff appearances, but of course only one Super Bowl. The Giants won 2 under Tom Coughlin. Swagoo, how do you like this Harbaugh fit in New York?
I like it. Look, knowns are always a plus in the NFL, and we know that John Harbaugh is a really good coach. We know that he's organized. We know that he's had a tremendous amount of success in his previous stay, and it feels like the Giants have been in this revolving cycle of trying to figure out who that guy would be. The contract probably is going to be built in order for him to build this team and give him enough time to do so. So I like the hire. Everybody I thought would be a fan of wherever John Harbaugh decided to go, but it feels right in New York. It feels like a coach that's older in his tenure. He has cachet, and more importantly, stability in this organization, and a coach that can walk into Joe Schoen's office and say, I need this, without any pushback.
Yeah, part of the reason why I like this hire was Harbaugh's record when it comes to putting a staff together. His track record, he has many contacts, obviously people he's worked with around the league. I think the defensive coordinator hire is massive. Obviously offensive, working with Jackson Dart. But this was a defense that really underperformed its talent level. Now I do think they need to make additions, particularly on the back end, but something you saw last year was regression, both on the part of some younger players and also some of the free agent signings they made. So I want to bring in someone who can not only coach the new players they add, and they will add them, but also elevate some of the existing ones. I've seen Anthony Weaver in Miami being thrown out as a possible name. I would love that if I'm a Giants fan, because I think he did just that in Miami. But to me, that's a very key hire, and it's one that I do trust John Harbaugh to make.
Yeah, and listen, they compiled one of the best rosters in all of football, as now we pivot to another team that we thought had one of the best rosters in all of football, but both teams underperforming from where we thought they would be. We're talking about Philly. GM Howie Roseman asked if he would actually be open to trading A.J. Brown this offseason.
It is hard to find great players in the NFL, and A.J. is a great player. I think from my perspective, that's what we're going out and looking for when we go out here in free agency in the draft, is trying to find great players who love football, and he's that guy. So I think that would be my answer.
Okay, Dano, can this relationship be fixed?
Of course it can be fixed. I think Howie Roseman completely understands the reality of how rare of a physical talent A.J. Brown is, but I'll use his words. He says he's a great player. A.J. Brown had a career low in yards per catch this year at 12.9. So Howie Roseman has to answer the question of why. Why was that the case this year? Is that because the player has fell off? Is that because the quarterback didn't perform to the proper level? Is it because the offensive coordinator was fired? And if the new offensive coordinator comes in, do they believe AJ can get back to that 15 yards per catch type of receiver? If they do, I think you try and keep him, but he's going to want out if not.
Yeah, talking about an important hire, that OC hire. All right, let's go to Kansas City, where quarterback Patrick Mahomes spoke yesterday for the first time since suffering that torn ACL.
It's been going great. I mean, obviously, I think the long term, I want to be ready for week 1. Doctor said that I could be, but I can't predict what's going to happen throughout the process. But that's my goal. And so I'll try to prepare myself to be ready to play in that week 1 and have no restrictions. You know, you want to be out there healthy and giving us the best chance to win. And so Obviously, hopefully be able to do some stuff in OTAs and then get to training camp and hopefully be able to do a lot there. So I'm excited for the process. It's a long process, but I'm excited for it.
So, RC, let's say he's back by week 1. How good can they be next season?
Well, I think the Kansas City Chiefs have to reformulate how they approach football. They need to build protection around Patrick Mahomes, which they have been trying to do. We obviously have to wait for Travis Kelce to make a decision, and I still believe they need a running back in the backfield that can make a difference, like a Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame.
There you
and if
go.
you can get some of those things around Patrick Mahomes to take some of the pressure off of him being Superman each and every week, then I think this team could be good because we know what he's made of, and also head coach Andy Reid.
Jeremiah Love to Kansas City. Just project.